Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. One of the things that my subscribers like about my channel is that if I get something wrong or I put out information that is not correct, I admit it and I either redo the video or I put out a disclaimer letting people know what I got wrong. Earlier today, I did a video and I got some information wrong. And that was information about some Dallas police officers killed and injured. While there's been Dallas police officers injured during these riots, the article that I was referring to actually took place in 2016. I got it from two different sources today that I thought were reliable. Both of them had yesterday's date attached to it. That is a prime example of how easy it is for someone to pick up on something on social media and run with it, thinking it's truthful. In this case, it was not. I apologize. I got it wrong. Mistake made. My bad. And we will go on with the correct information. In all of the riots and the horrible things that have been happening in the past several days, we did have 2 Oakland police officers shot. One of those police officers have died. And that is a horrible tragedy. Something else that I wanted to talk about was the children of leaders. For instance, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, his daughter, Chihara, Chiara, was arrested for supporting Antifa. Of course, the mayor came out and said that his daughter was not part of anything that was bad. She was peacefully protesting. Law enforcement has a different story on that as to what she was doing where she was at. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. You guys remember him, right? I've done several videos on him in the past. He is now the Attorney General for Minnesota. He's also a Muslim, which is fine. But when he was running to be the Attorney General there, his ex-girlfriend had come out and tried to get the news media to cover her story. And hardly no one did. You really had to dig for this story. I did, and I shared that information with my subscribers. And that was that she had photo evidence and a video that her kids took of how he treated her and how it was okay for him because in their faith, it was all right for Muslim men to make their wives or girlfriends submissive. And in this case, he beat her. Even though it came out, not to the degree that it should have, because it should have been all over Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, the people still elected him. I also did a video on him with a photograph showing you him holding up a copy of the Antifa handbook and a big nice smile on his face. Go back and look at that video if you would like. Well, his son, Jeremiah, came out last night and declared his support for Antifa. Very, very sad, disturbing, and disgusting. Antifa is basically, primarily, a bunch of white kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, that are disgruntled They have been taught either by their far left parents or their far left teachers that America is bad, that law enforcement is bad, all cops are bad, the military's bad, closing the borders is bad. And they go out and do violent things to peaceful protesters. We know it. We've seen it. It's been all over our TV. Well, the president yesterday said he was going to have the DOJ classify Antifa as domestic terrorists, something that I've been calling for a long, long time, as many other conservatives and Republicans have. The Democrats and the left don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because Antifa is against those that support law enforcement, those that support the military, those that support veterans, and those are typically Republicans and conservatives. Not that some Democrats don't, but in general. And that's how they look at it. That's how they view it. So they show up at protests that are being done and they attack them with clubs, throwing bricks, rocks, pepper spray, you name it. They are a hateful, disgusting group of kids, like I said, primarily white, that do stupid stuff. They're out there burning and looting and setting shit on fire all across America. Tonight, last night, Saturday night, Friday night, along with some misled, misguided young black males that also believe that the system is rigged against them, that believe that white people are bad, and they're making it known. They're attacking white people in the street and beating the shit out of them in like packs. And they're joining in with Antifa, throwing shit at police officers and trying to physically harm them and kill them, as some police officers have been majorly injured in the past week, and some have died. What is happening in America is unacceptable. And sadly, it's all based on a bunch of false narratives. What happened to George Floyd is a travesty. The police officer has been arrested and charged with murder, as he should be. I'm also calling for the police officers that stood around and did nothing to stop him. They should also be charged with accessory to murder. They are as guilty as he is for not stepping in. But out of all the interactions that take place in America with law enforcement, it's only the few bad apples that every now and then raise their ugly head and do something horrible and disgusting. And they need to be held accountable when that happens. And that does happen. But in several high-profile cases, let's just take Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge or Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. It was a false narrative fed to you by CNN and MSNBC. We now know that after all the investigations were done, especially by federal prosecutors that were black, a Department of Justice head that was black, and a president that was black. The hands up, don't shoot was all a lie. It was all race baiting. We now know that. That's factual information. But the left doesn't care, and the Democrats don't care. They continue to push a false narrative. And because of that, and because of the Colin Kaepernicks taking a knee, claiming police brutality is running rampant across the nation against innocent black youth, because of that, we have what we see right now. These young kids believing that shit. I want you to take a moment in your day, your night, and go over to my friend American Joe. Go over to his latest video. It's titled, Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. Go check that out and give it a like, please. Subscribe to his channel as well. He's a very good patriot, an American patriot, and a fellow veteran brother. And, well, the video speaks for itself. It shows you what a lot of us feel right now. And that is, if you want violence, and that's all you understand, then that's what you should get in return. And to hell with all this sitting back and not getting involved law enforcement because of Democrat mayors saying that, oh, we don't want to make it worse. No. All that does is embolden them. It enables them. And then they do shit like attempting to attack the White House, burn down churches, banks, post office, bursting into mom and pop stores all across the nation, looting and rioting them. What we're watching these kids do is beyond third world nation type anarchy. You would expect to see something like this, I don't know, in Somalia or Venezuela. You know, socialism type BS. We have a lot, and I do mean a lot, of misguided kids all across this country. And that's a sad, sad thing. So many men and women have fought for, bled for, and died for their rights to protest. And they take it and turn it into a monstrous scene that is unacceptable, and do things that are unacceptable. Sadly, because of the change in society and culture, it's not okay to whip your little kid's ass when they do something stupid and dumb. No, when I was growing up and I did something stupid and dumb, I got grounded, I lost all my shit, I lost all my privileges, and I got my ass beat by my father. And that's how it should be still today. And we'd have things a whole lot different with a lot of these little fucktards running around doing stupid shit. It's absolutely disgusting what we've allowed our youth to become. And not all youth, obviously. My kids don't act that way. And if they did, they knew what to expect. And if you don't have respect for your parents, you sure as hell aren't going to have respect for authority. So they go out and they spit on police officers, and they throw water on police officers, and they throw rocks and bricks at police officers, and set the cars on fire, and all the other things that I mentioned. As if, oh, that's some type of approved outlet for them. No, it's not. Thankfully, last night in my town and my area of the state, it was a peaceful protest. They protested and they went home. Of course, the difference in the South and the rest of the country is we don't play that shit down here. If you want to act up and act a fool, you'll be treated like one. Doesn't matter if it's in someone's neighborhood and you go fucking around in their yard and their house or against their family, or you do it to businesses, or God help you if you try and attack a cop down here. But all across the country where you see this shit going down on your TVs, you see all the riots and the looting and the burning, and what's the one common thread? The mayors are Democrats. And in most cases, so are the governors. And they're allowing it to happen. They're allowing this anarchy to take place. Primarily, and I'll be honest with you, this is my personal belief, it's because as we're getting closer to the 2020 election in November, they've run out of options of how they're going to get Trump out of office. Everything they've tried has failed because, well, they were wrong. And now, just let the country go to shit. And maybe enough people will decide we don't want this guy as our president. We'd rather bring in Mr. Alzheimer's or whatever's wrong with him and have him run our country. Sadly, the guy doesn't even know where he's at when he's giving his speeches. Most of the time he's incoherent. And that's what the Democrats put up for this year. You thought Hillary Clinton got her ass whipped in the election? Wait till you see what's fixing to happen in November. What's happening across this country has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is for American patriots to stand up and join our brothers and sisters in blue and have their six, because they're being overrun right now. It's time for American patriots to get out there and be a part of this. And when you see one of these little fuckers running around setting some shit on fire or bursting in a window, you should take action. That's your right as an American citizen to stop them from doing a crime. That is correct. In every state in America, if you see someone committing a crime, you have the right to stop them and the right to arrest them as a citizen and turn them over to law enforcement, which in this case will only be a block or two away from you. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, our Blue and Gold Star families, our Angel families, our president, and our country. We need God back in our lives, and our schools, and our courthouses. We need the fear of God in our youth. And they need to either respect their elders and respect the laws of the land, or pack up and go find some other country to live in where you can run around and act like a complete and utter idiot because you're not wanted here. That's not what we're about in this country. God bless you, everyone.